So Miz won the WWE Championship on Monday on Raw. I didn't see it live. I recorded it, and I watched it back on Tuesday. I watched it on Tuesday, and I hadn't read anything else, so I didn't know what was happening. And I'll admit I marked out when he cashed in the Money in the Bank briefcase on Randy Orton and became the new WWE Champion. I've since had some time to think about it, and even though I'm not sure it's entirely set into the wrestling world in general, I like Miz. Don't get me wrong. I didn't have a problem with them giving him a run because I think it's better to try giving somebody like The Miz the title than stick with the same stale title picture that they've got at the minute. I would rather see that and see, because WWE doesn't they, in all honesty, it's very rare that WWE builds a star very well. In the way things are at the minute, WWE doesn't really know how to build superstars. They have that the only guy I can really think that they're building at the minute is Daniel Bryan, and even he recently got squashed by Sheamus, and that was as US champion. So, but Miz WWE champion, I'm in two minds about it. Like I said, I'd rather see WWE trying to push new guys. I mean, maybe he isn't ready for the title. Maybe he should have cashed in and he should have lost. But I'd rather see him as champion than Randy Orton. That's my opinion. Now, as far as it goes with the wrestling side of things, that's where the problems come in. See, as much as I like Miz as a character, as a heel, he's a brilliant heel. I don't care what anybody says. Look, The Rock cut the same promo every single week. I'm not comparing The Miz to The Rock because I think The Rock is in a different league. But they're saying, but I've heard people say consistently that The Miz cuts the same promo every single week. Well, what did The Rock do? What did The Rock do? Just because it working for it worked for both men. It worked for The Rock and it's working for Miz. He's gaining genuine heel heat. But I think The Rock was a much better wrestler than Miz. And whilst The Rock wasn't necessarily the best wrestler in the world, he wasn't. He knew what he could and couldn't do. He knew his limits, and he learnt them pretty quickly. And I think that was important to The Rock's success. Miz hasn't really found that niche yet. He doesn't know what he can and can't do. I'm not sure if he's quite at the level you should expect of a WWE champion. I mean, I think everybody's realised by now that WWE isn't looking for a world-class wrestler to carry the company. John Cena is not a great wrestler. Randy Orton is not a very good wrestler. He's got the psychology thing, but it's boring. It's stale. It's old. It's not exciting to watch. Kane is not a good wrestler. Other guys in the main event scene aren't good wrestlers. Big Show is not a good wrestler. Undertaker is not what he used to be. He's a fair wrestler these days. He's not capable of doing what he could do. Who else? Can't think now. Had a complete blank. There's probably other people, but most of the people in and around the main event scene aren't necessarily great wrestlers. I mean, with Jericho gone, I don't know whether Jericho's coming back or not. Wade Barrett isn't a great wrestler, not technically. Maybe he's got the package as far as what WWE is looking for. He's a big guy, he's good on the mic. He's not awful in the ring. And I think that's what WWE are looking for. Personally, I think... No, I don't know where... I don't know what sort of reaction I'm going to get from this. But I think, this is my opinion, and this is not just because I'm English, I think Wade Barrett is more ready for the title than Miz is. Because Miz hasn't really been in the main event scene. I think what they should have done, they should have at least pushed him to the point where he looks like he could be on the verge of the main event scene. I mean, people were expecting him to cash in, but people don't really buy Miz as a main eventer just yet. I mean, he's as high up the card as you can get without being in the main event. He is WWE's top drawing star outside the main event. He's the WWE's most popular non-main event superstar. He is the biggest guy outside of the main event. But he hasn't quite broken through that barrier yet. He isn't a main eventer. People, I don't expect to see Miz in the main event. I think he was in one main event match, a tag team match, as far as I can remember. I can't remember who he teamed with. It might have been Jericho or somebody on a Raw. He was in a tag team match on the Raw. I can't remember who he teamed with. It might have been Jericho, might have been Barrett. But he went. I'm pretty sure he went up against John Cena and Randy Orton. It was John Cena and somebody, or Randy Orton and somebody. I can't remember. It was a tag team match, and he was in the main event. That's the only time I can remember Miz being in a main event. Because he's not a main eventer. Love him or hate him, I personally think he's brilliant. But he's not a main event superstar. Not yet. I mean, putting the WWE title on him is going to help. But that doesn't... You don't make a main event superstar by putting a world title on him. I'm going to reserve judgment as far as how good of a champion he will be, because he could prove all of us wrong. He could prove absolutely everybody wrong, and he could be the next true breakout superstar. He could go on. He could go on, hold the title to WrestleMania. He could be the first unified champion since Brock Lesnar. He could be the first undisputed champion in 8 years. And that would be a massive feat for somebody like, what, 9? It'll be almost 9 years by then. And that would be a massive feat for somebody like The Miz. I think people would buy him if he has a credible title run. He has to be booked strong. He has to be made to look strong. Yes, he can be made to look cowardly, but don't have him cheat to win every single title match. Don't have him lose by DQ. Do not have him get counted out. His first title match at TLC, it's going to be a stipulation match, which I think is stupid for his first title defense. Unless they have something on a Raw where Randy Orton has a rematch or something. But 2 title matches in a row, 2 title matches, 2 Raws in a row, I won't buy that. I would have Randy Orton and Randy Orton cage rematch at TLC. I'd probably make it chairs match. You haven't got much to work with. I don't want it to be a ladder match because that seems like what should happen for Edge versus Kane. I think that stipulation fits that match better. Whether they're going to have it just as a ladder, I don't know what they're going to do. Whether they're going to have a ladder match, a table match, a chair match, and a TLC match, which is what they did last time. I think really, if they're going to do it, they should have. They should not have. Don't have 2 ladder matches on pay-per-view. Whether it's TLC match, whether you want to call it a TLC match or whether you want to call it a ladder match, it's 2 ladder matches on pay-per-view. Fair enough, you can get away with that once a year, but twice a year. I mean, Money in the Bank, you can get away with it, but Money in the Bank and TLC, you can't do that. You cannot do 2. Cannot do 2 ladder matches at 2 pay-per-views. Sorry, I can't do it. You just can't. But they have Miz win. and don't make it look like a fluke. Have Miz look like he kicked Randy Orton's ass. Have him go over. Orton won't get hurt by it. Orton can get destroyed by the Miz, and still look like a legitimate world champion. I don't like Randy Orton, but he's a main eventer, and he's going to get main event pops. Because I don't buy him as a babyface. I don't buy him as a face at all. I don't buy him as this tweener, whatever he is. I don't know. Is he a babyface? Is he a face? Is he a tweener? Is he supposed to be the new Stone Cold, as I've heard mentioned? I don't buy him as Stone Cold. He's not a badass. He's not. He's an arsehole. He's not a badass. He's an arsehole. Randy Orton is a heel. He's a natural heel. He's got that he's got a heel face. He's got a heel personality in real life. And he's not. I don't know. Something about Orton just screams heel to me. He shouldn't be anything else. As far as The Miz goes, I think with him cashing in the Money in the Bank, obviously he's heel, and him cashing in the Money in the Bank, he was always going to come out of that looking like a heel. Now, what I think what they should do is they should turn the Miz face. I think, whilst he is great as a heel, he's great on the mic, he's popular, he's over, he is so over, his wrestling skills would not be looked at as much if he was a face, in my opinion. Turn Miz face, have him have a good solid run as world champion, have him beat top guys, have him go over Raw, clean, have him go over who I don't even know who's available in the main event scene on Raw. Have him win. I mean, he's probably realistically, I think he's going to lose the title at the Elimination Chamber, and they're going to have a title unification match. Or I just can't see them having Miz go into WrestleMania as a world champion. But have him look legit. Push him into a main event. Push him into like real main event feuds. Don't just have him go up against the main event star. Make him look like a main eventer. Turn him face. Push him against Orton. Have him beat Orton and then turn face. Have him go against a heel for his title defense at Royal Rumble. If he does lose the title at Elimination Chamber, have him have a top draw match at WrestleMania. Don't put him in the opening match like they did last year. Put him in I know it's WrestleMania, but put him in an upper card match. Have him face John Morrison again. Turn John Morrison heel and have him face John Morrison at WrestleMania. That is a match I've wanted to see again for a long time. I mean, their bragging rights match from 2009 was a good match. There was a lot of psychology to it. It didn't get as long as I would have liked, and the finish was a bit. It didn't come across well to me. But just do that. Make sure all I want to see from this is Miz look credible as a main eventer. If they are going to push him as a main eventer, I want him to look good. WWE has a chance to make Miz look like a credible main eventer. And my only hope is that they do not fuck up. Because if they fuck up this, he could be like Jack Swagger and go back to miring in the mid card for the rest of his career. My only hope is that they make Miz look credible, they make him look like a main eventer, they push him right, and they don't make him look like a bitch. Here's hoping.